Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Quarbit, and I'll be your host today for Europa Universalis 4. Welcome back to the 10th part of our Identity Crisis series, where last time we played a little bit of a sleepy game as Majapahit, and then once again as Flanders. So today, I'm really hoping to get some better nations, and of course, because it's the 10th episode, we're going to go back and check on each of the nations we've played so far, and see how they've been doing. If you're new around here and you haven't been following the series so far, then I recommend you go and check out the previous ones, although because each episode is different, it's not exactly necessary to continue. Or if you've been following along and you haven't subscribed yet, then I recommend you do that, and of course, liking the video would be a massive help. But with that out of the way, let's see which nation we get next. And we get Aragon. Actually, I'm pretty sure Castile can just hit the integration button immediately once this war is done, if they take the right land. So, to avoid immediately ending the game, I'm just going to move on to a different nation. And we get Najd. I already played as Najd, we can't do that again. Hold on a second here. Okay, let's try this one more time. Utrecht. You know what? Okay, in this case, we're kind of too close to Flanders. We're also in OPM, and I don't think we're going to get anything done here anyway. Just like last time on Flanders, so once again, let's pick another nation. Cheyenne. We're also native tag, and I remember saying earlier that we're just not going to play as native tags because they're likely to die anyways, and I don't think this is going to last long either. We don't have enough tech, so. Mong Mao. Okay. Finally we have something here. Good lord, this took a long time, but we finally did get here. Okay, so it took us about 6 tag switches or so to find a tag that isn't either a native, an OPM, or has no future prospects. So, there we go. I hope it doesn't stay this hard to find a new tag. But here we are as Mong Mao. We're fighting against Wu, which is doing pretty okay. We're allied with Mong Nai, Ava, Khmer. Okay, not bad. We have a total of 6 ships here. Actually, I'm going to want to bring these up together. And we can get to converting a little bit over here. Let's see, so our estates are pretty terrible as usual. Let's see what we can do instead. As for our army, we have a total of 40,000 men, which looks like it's these guys over here. Let's go ahead and peace Tongning out. I'm really glad that we finally get a nation which is actually quite strong. We're getting printing press pretty quick. The global trade thing is going to take a little bit longer though. Yeah, we have some pretty poor trade ports, honestly. So I think the main goal for this nation is going to be embracing institutions and possibly invading Ayutthaya if we can. And southern China, of course. And here we have a full front row, so let's go around and slap some Wu stacks. Our economy also sucks, I wonder why that is. I think it's because our trade is just terrible. That could be it. Okay, let's get rid of this stack. Beautiful. Let's get rid of that stack. Nice. Now Wu has 0 men. Feels good, man. Okay, let's try to finish this war really quickly. We don't have that much money. In fact, our total income is one of the worst out of the larger nations. To be honest, it probably is because we have so many cannons. Alright, 98% war score. If anything, I would much rather get a lot of war reps, a humiliate, and a little bit of land. Because we need money and we need power points. So let's bring the boys back home for a second. Let's try and root out all that corruption. Boy, do we have a lot of corruption. That's not good. And repay all of my loans. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. I just have to figure out what to do with all of this corruption and all this low income. I'm going to put on a little bit of advancement effort here. Try to make that go a little bit faster. Our biggest problem right now is this massive corruption and the fact that our leader is kind of terrible. So terrible, in fact, I think I'm just going to get rid of him because our heir is significantly better. And even when this guy dies, he's going to have an even better guy on the throne. Or someone who's roughly the same. Painful corruption. Very painful corruption. And we're going to try and save up our points here. Economic and offensive is a pretty decent combo to start with. I don't like how he took espionage ideas. This kind of sucks. But I might as well go ahead and finish it off so that we can get that corruption maybe. In fact, we'll just sort of get rid of this. So we can make a little bit of money, but also we're going to have to focus on getting that last little bit of espionage there. Corruption can grow for now. Eventually we're going to have that idea that'll solve it. Okay, those cores are done. And there goes that last core there. Yeah, we're actually really far behind here. In fact, so far behind, I'm probably just gonna take out some loans and grab that institution. We're gonna have to take like 7 loans, which is kind of painful, but oh well. Now we can embrace. That'll help us out significantly. Now hopefully the AI will spend less on all their techs from now on. So I did a little bit of the math on this, and if we move our capital to this one province here, I can actually spawn the institution for roughly 1,500 points. Considering it doesn't look like global trade's really going to hit our country in the next, well, multiple years, probably within our interest to actually go ahead and do that, because if we move it away from here, it'll actually end up saving us some points, even if we spend the initial 200 on moving it. So we're actually going to move our capital over to here, which is great because it's also a fort, and it being the capital is actually going to decrease it even further, so I might be able to make it cost like 1,300. But we're gonna find out. Yeah, we're able to make it roughly like 57% cheaper in total from its original cost of like 2,050 points. So this should be extremely cheap to just spam out. What we have to do first though is we have to make sure the printing press is actually there, so what I should have done is I should have put it on embracement first, but it'll get there pretty quick anyway. Okay, let's get the last little bit of this. That'll give us some manpower, that'll give us the corruption decrease. Okay, the capital has grabbed the printing press, beautiful. And we're very close to just grabbing it. Might be 1 click or 2 more. Yep, just 1 more. There we go. I could also increase its spread, but I think what I want to do at this point is actually just grab it myself. Okay, I'm also going to want to declare on this guy because he has 2 of the very important things I need. Our aggressive expansion has also gone down significantly, so we should be okay to declare a war soon. And yeah, I collect here, but he definitely holds the vast majority of the trade I could have from this. So it's off to war we go. I'll just go straight for the capital and try to achieve a white peace, or maybe a short peace or something. Alright then, straight to the capital this time. Fewer detours maybe. We'll bring out the navy to make this really quick. Damn. This guy is not doing so well. Jeez. Yikes. Alright, this capital's been sieged. I think that's good enough to get him out. I'm just gonna go and siege a little bit more. See if I can get some more money out of this guy. That'll be all of his money and war reps, please. Thank you very much. Okay, 1 year left. Just 1 year. Let's go and try to siege Ayutthaya out. Let's leave a couple men back here. Actually, let me go and try to block them from crossing back over here. And now he's locked. Ooh, we're really running out of time now. All I need now is for Ayutthaya to leave. Hopefully we can siege this pretty quickly. Well, we can get Ayutthaya out anyway. Go for war reps and full money, of course, and we'll get rid of their alliance with the UN, maybe? Actually, I don't care much about their alliances at all. Right now they're at 0, so let's just wait for them to drop down to low. They will not accept a 100% peace deal like that, though. Oh, they will now. Which means I get to take all their money as well. Okay, there we go. This might cause a small coalition of Wu, Shun, and Ming, though I'm sort of feeling like it'll be alright. It'll cost quite a bit to core, but I'm sure he'll get there. Let's start with the obvious stuff over here. And the rest you'll have to grab over time. I'm also going to turn off all the forts and take out a few loans to embrace this institution. Now that we have a lot more provinces that have it, it's going to cost us less. This time only taking 4 loans. Just 1 more month left. Oh, we became a great power. There we go. Now we can officially say we played as a great power twice so far. I'm just going to set these guys on the path to take care of that while we're gone. That's just about all we can do for now. And there we go. 1st of January, 1634. And hopefully he can take care of himself long enough to catch back up in tech, because now that he's finished all of his ideas, he has nothing else to spend his points on. But yeah, there you go. There's Mong Mao. Let's move on to the next nation. Hopefully this one doesn't take another 6 tag switches. And we get Utrecht. Again. Somehow, how do we get Utrecht again? Okay, we swap over to Ayutthaya. Now, the thing about Ayutthaya is, let me just demonstrate it visually. Do you see the problem? I see the problem. don't think it's really possible to get anything done here. Not very easily. Like, sure, we could try, but I'm pretty sure it would end in an absolute failure 100% of the time. So, let's roll the dice again. Do we get Multan? You know what? I'll take it. Okay, we're in a war that is not ours and is absolutely not our problem. We happen to have 35,000 men. I have no idea where they are. It looks like we have a few over here, a few over here, and a few up here. So here's the deal. I'm bringing everyone home because this war is not my problem. Alright, let's see here. Well, he's managed his crown land pretty poorly, but fair enough, he does have 5 estates. Actually, can I peace out of this war? Is that possible? No, absolutely not. Never mind. We'll just have to go back home and wait it out. God damn it. Well, there goes one stack. You see, we're at war with someone who's on our border, but we sent our men onto the furthest possible front. Generally, it's not a good idea. Oh, it looks like Transoxiana just has some god-tier morale, or my morale is literal garbage. Yeah, it is. My morale is actually just garbage. That's what's happening. Okay, well, let's come back home. Okay, and we're missing the printing press and global trade, but a couple of loans would solve that problem. At least there's no deving to do, so that's great. Alright, this guy only has Tech 15. This should be a walk in the park, really. Okay, defensive up over here. Boy, do I wish I wasn't in this war right now. It's quite possible we're gonna have to, cede a couple of provinces. Yeah, not really sure what to do about this whole thing. The best I can do is clean up Sistan here. At least we're allied with some pretty solid allies in India. I do like that. Keep in mind, he is 2 techs behind us in military. This should be feasible. Oh my god. Well, not when Transoxiana comes in, that's for damn sure. Might have to wait for Nogai to peace out. Okay, so Nogai did the classic sleazebag, scumbag AI type of thing. And they, as you might notice here, they actually didn't lose any provinces, I don't believe. Yeah, no, doesn't look like they lost any provinces. Well, good for them. Except they gave away mine. Yeah, they did that. That's cool. It's really good. It's really nice. It's really cool, man. So, the next chance I get, you can bet I'm going to be going to war and trying to take these myself once again. But first of all, we have a nation to absolutely get started on cleaning up. Let's not forget that they actually just isolated this one province I have, and they're not going to give me military access. So I have to ask Chagatai for it, just to unoccupy one of my provinces from some separatists. Take out a couple of loans, embrace one institution. The next one will cost a little bit more, but if I put on a couple of advancement edicts, it could go a little bit faster around here, so... Ooh, there we go. This is a really, really good event. I think in this case we're probably going to want the military power. No, instead we'll want the admin. We're gonna need that for teching up all of those techs we didn't grab yet. Okay, I'll wait until 1640 and I'll grab that institution in those provinces. We're also getting our manpower back. I think it might be worth a slacken or two if I can raise my manpower cap. And there we go, it's in one more province, and it'll take us just a couple of extra loans to grab it. There we go. Let's go ahead and spend our admin. Spend it over here, I'll spend it over there. So now we're only 2 techs behind in admin, which means we're no longer getting corruption from it. Okay, I think we're just about ready. I think it's time for us to declare on Dali, so let's send the men into Sistan, try to get them out quickly. Okay, I marked all of Dali's provinces as ones that I want, so he's not going to occupy them. I think we are ready to go. I think I'll go straight for the Sistani capital. I'll siege that down and then I'll head out. Also, I don't know why this guy took espionage ideas. The AI always seems to perplex me. I don't know what they're doing most of the time, but no espionage ideas. Stop that. I would much rather you picked either religious, so I could change you to Sikh, or maybe quantity, so you'll have men to fight with. In fact, screw it, yeah, let's go quantity. If you're going economic quantity, that'll help you out a lot. Okay, I actually am going to take this event, because that is a free little bit of manpower as well. And just before Sistan takes this little piece of land here, I'm going to reconquer some of my land. I'll break his alliance with Transoxiana. Oh geez, it occurs to me, we actually don't have that much time left. Only 2 years, oh no. Okay, let's very quickly go up to Chagatai. I will leave the rest to my allies down here. Hopefully they'll do well. I don't think they will, but Let's have a little bit of faith, maybe. Oh man, it's gonna take a really long time for us to even get there. Okay, Malwa's close to leaving. They took a fort, which is great. In fact, they took the capital, which is amazing. This is really tough for my allies. Only 1 year left. I'm gonna try and get Chagatai out as fast as possible. Gujarat needs manpower. Okay, I'd be happy to oblige. I think in this case we have to be quick, so I actually will barrage this. There we go. Okay, let's get Chagatai out, and that'll be good enough for me. Then we come down here. We go to Malwa. Malwa's not ready to leave yet. Oh, we're getting really close to the end of things here. It's making me a little bit nervous. But I think once we get Malwa down to low, this should be doable. Unfortunately, our allies are also at low, so, you know, either we win right now or we lose right now. There really isn't an in-between. I'll actually go day by day and wait to see if he ever goes to 1. Yep, there we go. We've won. And all of our allies are back up to high, because now Multan's gone. And all I ask for at this point is that our allies manage to siege down the rest of this stuff. And then hopefully I can take something roughly along the lines of this, and his alliance with Malwa will be gone. Well, it'll take these units until the end of the campaign to actually get back. So we might have to make a peace deal by ourselves, or we'll have to leave it up to the AI. The AI might come up with something good, so I'm sort of willing to do that, because we're just so likely to win this war. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's also a good idea to just put this poor Googe out of its misery. There's nothing left for him in this world. It's time for him to go. Alright, not much time left here. We can take this fort. That would be a godsend. Oh, nice. You know, I didn't think he'd actually do it. Yeah, I'll have to leave this up to the AI, I believe. He's not going to give me 100% yet, so we're going to have to leave this to the whim of the AI, which is always a bad idea. But I'd rather he just pull off a 100% peace deal than do nothing, so let's see what he does with it. Because this is the end of our run here as Multan. Started off pretty poorly in a war that we were not going to win. Our AI ally screws us over. Perfect example of the thing I mentioned during the Genoa campaign. They absolutely will use your land in the peace deal if they can. That's sort of just how the AI works. On the bright side, we managed to reconquest 1 core. We're absolutely going to be crushing Dali here. We will be rebuilding, and the only problem that remains is a thick Transoxiana that terrifies me and gives me a couple of nightmares. But I think Multan is going to survive, so long as he doesn't do anything like, you know, ally no guy. So, anyways, that's the end of what we have for today's episode, except we're going to go back and do a very quick recap of all the nations we played so far. We're going to try to do this like lightning fast to make sure we don't drag on the episode for too long. So, let's go. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. We have Chichimeca, who has obviously very much died. I don't even remember where he was, but looks like his land has been completely annexed. Nothing really came of note from him. Next up we have Nepal, which is actually doing quite well. I'm very impressed with how things turned out for him. He's making a pity little bit of sum here. It's not very much. He is not currently up to date with tech, but he did embrace colonialism and global trade. He's working on the printing press, which will slowly make its way over to him. Overall, he could be doing worse. I'm very glad that he managed to stay alive this long, especially since he was one of the earlier nations. I didn't expect it, but it's quite nice to see. Next we have Hormuz, which it looks like it's actually going to be the downfall of Hormuz here. He has reigned supreme in the peninsula over here in the Persian Gulf for quite a long period of time. However, it looks like he's finally met his end here at Najd, the Mamluks, and Yemen. He was doing quite well. His navy is still fantastic, but it looks like he's going to be losing quite a lot of land soon. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Next we have Castile, which actually ended up forming Spain. Finally, congratulations to this mad lad who took his sweet time getting himself off the ground here. He managed to invade France, which was quite scary. He's gone a little bit further in Italy over here. He didn't do too much else in the New World. I would have expected more from him. Britain definitely sort of cleaned up his slack in South America, but he managed to establish a Florida colony. He's managed to dominate the West Indies and a little bit of South Africa, but not much else other than that, and maybe Australia. Oh wait, no, he has Alaska and he has California, so good for him. He's done a pretty decent job compared to, you know, how he was doing previously. Let's move on to the next nation, which is tag Yemen. Damn, that was tough to type for some reason. Yemen hasn't been doing so well. He got slapped by the Mamluks, and now he's friendly with the Mamluks. I don't know what's happening here, but he is currently at war with Bashasha, actually, so maybe Hormuz won't lose a lot of land. But it looks like he's at war. He might get a little bit of something out of here. I'm hoping he can make a little more progress, but he's not doing great right about now. He's still allied with Adal. Good for him. Adal is a strong ally if they don't want to kill him. Next, of course, we have the very sad and pitiful little nation of Guj here. Nothing of note. I started to annex him as our last nation, so there's nothing really to say. And then we have Scilly, or, well, we would have Scilly, except that they've been under Ottoman oppression for the last, like, 100 years or so. Then we have Mazandaran, which is still alive for some reason. Mazandaran is very weak, very sad, very pathetic. There's nothing really to say here. They've lost most of their land. I actually don't know how they're alive right now. But yeah, they're probably going to get annexed within like the next 20 or so years at best. You know, maybe 10 at worst. And then we have my main man out here, Hosokawa, doing his thing. I'm so proud of this guy. He managed to really pull it together and go ahead and just crush Ashikaga, which at the time formed Japan. In fact, Japan has been reduced to 1 core over here. That's the only reason why he hasn't formed Japan himself. Damn, this guy is an absolute mad lad. Look at the money he's making. Look at the army he has. Look at the invasion of Korea, classic Japan things out here. He's really doing quite well. I'm very proud of him. But if he could just grab the printing press, that would go a long way, I think. He's getting there. If he could dev it a little bit, it would definitely help him out. But we'll see what he does. He's looking pretty good right about now. And then, of course, we have the Najd himself, the dude out here going for his reconquest of his land over here in Mushasha. I'm surprised he's even lived this long, and he's going even beyond that. He's going to reconquest his cores. It looks like he might be able to become a new power in Arabia to replace Hormuz. It's going to be a battle between 2 of my previous nations to see who comes out on top. Of course, the guy allied to the Mamluks is probably going to come out on top, but we'll see. And then we have Ak Koyonlu out here getting absolutely destroyed by the Mamluks, but he is an ally in the war, actually. So if he pieces out, he'll probably cede a few provinces at worst. I don't think he's going to be losing too much in this war, other than, obviously, a good chunk of pride. I don't think he'll be weak enough to actually get killed by the Ottomans? I don't think so. The Ottomans are currently in a very big war against Poland and Lithuania, so I don't think the Ottomans are really going to survive this one, and they're definitely not going to survive to attack Akkoyunlu in the near future. In fact, if Akkoyunlu brings it all together, he might be able to invade the Ottomans one day. Probably not soon, but maybe one day. And then we have Maguindanao, which is a sort of weird, very sorry state right now. Maguindanao started off pretty poor. We helped him out. He ended up losing a war, and then he ended up getting his land back somehow. But I think what happened here is Manila actually betrayed him and fought him, and then Brunei came in and cleaned up the rest of his little pieces down here. So now all that's left is about maybe 5 or so cores. He might hold on. He does have a couple of cores that are ripe for reconquest. But yeah, it doesn't look like he has too much of a future, so big rip. Didn't expect much, but I'm not disappointed with how he turned out in the middle of things. And then we have our boy Genoa out here, which is currently in the process of getting full annexed, so I don't think there's much to say. He never really accomplished much of note, so we'll just move on to the next nation, which is Mombasa. So there was once upon a time a war that was happening here. Mombasa was getting full occupied. I was a little worried that they were going to get annexed or severely weakened by Mutapa, but it looks like they're actually doing just fine. I'm sure they're still making a sizable income of approximately 36 ducats a month. Yes, that's quite nice, especially with all the gold he's made off of Kilwa here. Yeah, that's pretty solid stuff. So not much else to say. He's probably not going to expand much further unless he somehow gathers the might to bring Adal into a war against Mutapa and try to do something down here. But he's doing pretty alright. Let's move on to the next nation, which is Cochin. Cochin, if you guys remember, did a little bit of an exodus. We pushed all the way down here to try and give him something to work with. Unfortunately, he doesn't look like he's doing well right about now. I think he's going to be able to persevere. I think he's going to be alright for now until either Nepal or Orissa attack him. But as for an exodus, it went pretty well. I'm satisfied with how far he went here. and I won't be too upset if it ends at this point, because he never really had a future without this whole thing anyway, so good on him for working with what I gave him. And then what we have here is Dali, which has a little bit of an exclave over here for some weird reason. It looks to me like Tibet went ahead and killed him. I don't expect too much to come from him. If he's lucky, he might get the separatists to free him, although I see that to be rather unlikely, so unfortunate, but we'll move on to the next nation, which is Majapahit. Somehow, he managed to do sort of something that I wanted to do. He managed to take back one of his cores from Bali, which is impressive. I thought he was actually completely gone when we last saw him, so at least he's alive. He's doing decent. Looks like he's maybe 60 or so dev. Could be worse, honestly. I don't think he'll do any drastic decisions to go ahead and attack Pyre Yoyoung again, but who knows, he might be able to take his last core over here and do something with that. And then finally we have the sad sorry state of Flanders over here, which is not only still allied to a useless Britain, but is now giving them the trade power. At least Britain is giving him a little bit of subsidies each month, but overall that's not going to mean much in the long run. If he can't get his cores back from Holland, he's not going to go anywhere. And finally we have the tag of Mong Mao here, which is for some reason at war with Spain, and it's kind of terrifying. They're also losing their great power status, which is a little unfortunate. Transoxiana decided to snipe that real quick. He is currently winning a war against Ayutthaya, so good on him. And he managed to core all of this stuff up finally, which was rather expensive, so I'm glad he managed to do that. And I think he paid back a couple of his loans, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, the economy is not great, but he has improved it to the point where he makes 40 ducats a month, which I think is quite a lot more than he had before. He's still abusing his estates. I think he actually took back the things that I gave the estates, which makes me a little sad, but I guess the AI is gonna do what it's gonna do, right? Other than that, not much else to say. He moved his capital back because AI rules for capitals are absolutely stupid and I wish they didn't exist, but at least we managed to get him one institution through here so he can spend his points on going through his tech instead of spending them on deving and like double cost tech and ideas and stuff. And we just finished off his Multan, so we know how that went. Alright, this one was a little bit of a longer episode after recapping all of those 20 nations, so hopefully you enjoyed this episode as well. This is Quarbit signing off, and as always, have a fantastic day. I would like to give a quick thank you to all of the patrons for the month of January, especially those we have starting in the general tier: Quiet Guy, Brennan Arsenault, Ben Greenhagen, Torvald, Theron, Brumant, Natsuki, and Dire Avenger. Those we have in the Prince tier: Snow Raven and Rockbox 2020. In the King tier we have Chewy Shoot. In the Elector tier we have TFLJ Martis. And in the Conqueror of Worlds tier we have The Watcher. Thank you guys so much for your pledges, it really does mean a lot to me, and I can't possibly thank you enough.